So there's my top 10. Nick Wright, First Things First host, joining us live. I think you'll probably not like the Philadelphia pick, but I'm serious.
Yeah, because it's bad.
Listen, they almost scored 40 points, and that's with 3 turnovers. It's like they can win shootouts. That's what the league's become, hasn't it?
Well, sure. So I like this hierarchy a lot in general. There's a few, I would pick a few nits. I think, the Bills have an argument they should be on there over the Dolphins. I really like that you gave Baker the love. But let's talk about Philly. Because coming into the year, there was concerns, how much are they going to miss Jason Kelce? Well, they had bad snaps and couldn't execute a tush push. Seems like they miss him.
Yeah.
Is Jalen going to continue to turn the ball over at an alarming rate? Well, he had 3 and was very fortunate he didn't have 5. So, yeah. Is the defense going to be a bottom 5 defense in the NFL for the 2nd straight year? It didn't blow me away despite the fact I didn't think Jordan Love was that sharp. I think you are potentially overestimating how good the Packers defense is when evaluating how great the Eagles offense looked. Listen, Saquon was sensational, and we know A.J. Brown is a superstar, and Devontae Smith is as good of a number 2 receiver as anyone has. But I don't trust the coach. I don't trust the defense. And as more and more time goes past since that Super Bowl, I lose more and more faith in the quarterback. So I think Philly is way overvalued. I think, Colin, what you said off at the end there is exactly right. If you watched football from Thursday to last night, it sure feels like the Chiefs and the Niners are here and the rest of the league is here, which maybe makes an argument that Baltimore should be number 3.
Yeah.
Because while, Kansas City controlled the game, Baltimore did have a chance to steal it.
Yep.
And I don't know how many people are going to play when Kansas City's locked in and essentially fully healthy, them tougher than Baltimore did. And I know teams will get better and, it's early, but it sure seems like that Kansas City and San Francisco, the 2 Super Bowl teams from last year, through a week, look like clearly the 2 best teams in football.
Also, I think what speaks so well, other sports can't do this, but Houston was a laughingstock 2 years ago. If they blow out Chicago, there's an argument they are in the upper crust of the league, which is why it's so much fun.
Sure.
C.J. Stroud is so good, so fast. I want to talk about the Jets, though. I said this. Even though I can be disappointed with teams, like Miami, I know what they are. Buffalo, McDermott, Josh Allen, I know what they are. Hell, the Patriots, physical defense, I know what they are. I come out of the Jets game last night. My take is, what are they? The defense was awful. What was your interpretation of what you watched?
That's so surprising that you said you came out, what are they? Colin, you know what they are. They're the Jets. The Jets. The team they've always been. A team that is poorly coached, unreliable, has had a good, but if we're being honest, a little overrated defense. Folks have been trying to play this shell game, this 3-card Monte game with the Jets narrative for 3 years now, which is we have this amazing pass defense, they've told us, and I think it's good. I think it's a good pass defense. Sauce Gardner's a great player. But then they've also been saying, and we won 7 games despite having the worst quarterback play in the world, not recognizing one of the reasons your pass defense number was so good was because your own quarterback play was so bad, teams got a lead and didn't feel like they had to throw the football. And so do I think that the Jets, letting their number 1 pass rusher go because they were going to get Hassan Reddick and then gosh darn it, I knew it. Did we leave the stove on? Did we leave the garage door open? Oh no, we forgot to get him signed to a contract. The only holdout left in the league. The Jets, who knew Nat Hackett's not an NFL offensive coordinator. Can we replace him? Yeah, let's replace him. Oh, wait, we're not actually able to get that done. The Jets, who are just going to keep acting as if we have any evidence that Robert Saleh is an NFL head coach. We know he's a defensive coordinator. Is he an NFL head coach? And then there is the Aaron Rodgers, we know he can throw a pretty ball.
Yep.
I'm old enough, literally old enough to remember, Colin, being a kid watching the NFL Today on CBS, and they went outside for like a demonstration, and Dan Marino, who might have been 53 years old, he watched him throw the ball. He was hurting people's hands. You're like, my God, Dan still got it. The problem was he couldn't move. I watched Aaron last night. I know he can throw a pretty ball. I don't know that he can move. I know he got the ball out faster than any quarterback in the league yesterday, except for Jaden Daniels making his first start and Baker, who was just 1-2 pass basically every drop back. I don't know why people wanted to believe this Jets team could be a juggernaut. Oh, my God, look at the weapons. Well, Mike Williams was one of the weapons. They're like, oh, well, he's not healthy yet. Well, that's always the problem with Mike Williams, right? Garrett Wilson is a very good receiver. Breece Hall is a very good running back. And that's the offense. The offensive line is fine, which for the Jets is a massive upgrade. Rodgers, right now, if you were to do the AFC quarterback rankings, he comes in right in the middle. And they have a defense that might not be able to consistently get a pass rush. They allowed a score on 8 consecutive possessions yesterday. So, yeah, I know what the Jets are. They're the Jets. And it's crazy how many people believed this team could win 13 games and Rodgers could be an MVP.
You know, I was saying this about Brock Purdy. Is it the horse or the jockey? I feel like the Niners' offensive weaponry and Shanahan are a combination of Secretariat and Seabiscuit and Seattle Slew, but I want to give the jockey credit, too. I will say this part about Brock Purdy. He doesn't have a lot of horsepower. Nick, he literally throws to the right spot accurately every time. And I don't know if he was 6'6" and had a howitzer, or he ran around like Kyler Murray, if it would be better. He gets the ball to Hall of Fame level players constantly, and he always makes the right decision. And I said, you know, we always talk about, does a quarterback get the right coach? I almost wonder if the coach got the right quarterback in Brock Purdy.
So that's an interesting way to put it. That are there quarterbacks in the league, I'll take Kyler because you mentioned him, who objectively have more talent but would not be as successful? Or like, would Shanahan say, no, give me Purdy, the last pick of the draft, over Kyler, the first pick of the draft, even if they had the same salary? I think that's an interesting argument. And I will also say this, as a kind of established Purdy skeptic, I was more impressed with his game yesterday than some of his 130 passer rating 3 touchdown games. I thought yesterday he played very well, even though the stats are pedestrian. What I will say is this. If someone were to come out today and say, Jordan Mason, that's top 5 running back in football, I think a lot of people would be like, well, hold on. What do you mean? And they'd be like, well, look at the numbers. What more do you want him to do? And I think people would say, well, the context of it has to matter. Like, we know the Shanahan system. We know how many running backs. And they say, well, he's 5 yards a carry. He's 28 yards. He did everything right. There is a bit, and people can say it's unfair, but Jimmy Garoppolo casts a massive shadow over this for some of us, which is if Jimmy Garoppolo was a D-plus quarterback who looked like a B-plus in Shanahan's system, is there some concern that Brock Purdy is a C-plus quarterback that looks like an A-plus in Shanahan's system? There is, but he is in the system, and I thought yesterday, without Christian McCaffrey, he was very, very good.
Yeah, I mean, baseball, if a guy hits 350, it just doesn't matter, he can hit. If a guy throws a no-hitter, he can pitch. Same with golf, same with basketball. It's very hard. Very rarely am I fooled on a basketball player because of what's around him. But in football, it happens a lot that Aaron Donald gets 3 people stacked up to block him, and the edge always gets solo blocking. So I'm with you on this. I like him. He doesn't have a lot of horsepower, but he does go to the right place, and with a brilliant coach, that matters. I was saying this about the Cleveland situation. It's a mess. And I said, you know what's funny? Is that Cleveland kind of decided, and I got it at the time, we're going to upgrade from Baker. We're better than Baker. And I'm going to make an argument, Cleveland is Baker. Underdog, little brash, chip on their shoulder, feisty. What they're not is Deshaun Watson. But I'm watching Baker, and is there an argument that they just should have fought through and just stayed with this kid? Now, it's easy now.
Is there an argument? How dare you ask me that? Yeah, there's an argument. I was making it to you. And you're trying to run him out of the league. Yeah, there's an argument. Yeah, that Baker Mayfield, who took over a team that was 1-31 in their last 32 games before he took over, and his first year made him respectable. His second year, they beat the Steelers in a playoff game, and then he got hurt. Like, the Baker story is very simple to understand. He suffered a shoulder injury to his throwing arm. He tried to play through it. He was awful. Then, oddly, Odell's dad turned against him, which really was a big deal. And all of a sudden, he's gone. And so, yes, if the Browns could have gotten a surefire thing, then I get it. But the Browns, it's so bad that it's like, hey, this 26-year-old coming off 4,900 yards is available. We can go get him. That's never happened before. Well, it's never happened before because that's not all you're getting with Deshaun Watson, as we have seen. And it, to me, Colin, appears Deshaun doesn't want to be out there.
Yeah.
I think that, listen, I think that at home he's booed, on the road he's booed. It's mortifying. By the way, I shed no tears. He obviously did this to himself, and there is a long list of people that are bigger victims because of Deshaun Watson than Deshaun Watson is. But I think the Browns are in such of their own doing a terrible spot. I don't think people understand what the cap situation is for them. They still owe him in cap dollars, Colin.
Yeah.
$173 million.
That's right.
They have $173 million of cap charges owed to Deshaun Watson starting next year. So he's unmovable, he's uncuttable, and he's unplayable. So I think Jameis gives them a better option, but this is, without question, the worst transaction in NFL history. And with his play Sunday and then the latest lawsuit yesterday, it just seemingly gets worse.
Yeah. No, people look at that Russell Wilson deal, but with Russell, they got Bo Nix, who appears to be capable. They got the coach right. And the truth is, it wasn't all guaranteed, so you can move off it. Like this, they're trapped.
I mean, I just want to, again, let me be a cap nerd just for a moment. Because people like say, yeah, the cap's fake. The cap's not fake. The cap is a credit card, and you can kick the can down the road, but eventually it's due.
Right.
Prior to Russell Wilson, no team had ever had a dead cap hit of more than $40 million.
That's right.
Russell blows it out of the water. It's 80. If they were to cut Deshaun, it's $172 million next year. That's not, you can't do it. The cap's 270. Your team would be insolvent. You can't do it. So it is, it used to be 20 million of dead cap was untenable. The Russell thing, where they're like, it's 80, we'll split it into 2 years, 55 and 25. This is unprecedented, and they've got nowhere to go. I know we're going to leave. Can I pay you one quick compliment?
Sure.
Because I'm just shocked by it.
Sure.
Man, I really expected for at least 2, maybe 3 of these questions to be Sam Darnold related. You have really, I mean, I compliment you for staying focused, but what a day in the Cowherd household watching Darnold just dice up the Giants. Oh my goodness.
It took every bit of personal discipline to not get on X for 2 hours taunting everybody. All I've asked for my audience, because you have people that like you. I'm not sure I do. All I've asked, I've been doing this 30 years. Could one person in America support me on Sam Darnold? I can't find one who goes,
wow.
He was 12 for 12. He looked pretty good.
That's what I said. I couldn't believe it. I turned on the herd. One of my favorite sports days of the year, sports TV days, the first Monday after the first NFL season, noon Eastern, see what Colin's going to talk about. And I'm like, Man, I know he's supposed to talk probably Cowboys, Brady, all of this. There was a great Sunday night game, Lions, Rams. He might lead with Darnold. Colin might lead with Darnold. I was really on the edge of my seat. But so great restraint, my friend.
All right. Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.